So good afternoon, everybody. I welcome you to this session on our usual update on the Euro USD. This is weekly candle that we are examining now. And so we can see how far in the last 3 weeks, what the price has done, after this correction. So we are correcting, and this is unfolding. So we are going to take it one after the other, and as we see the structure unfolding. Now, we have this sell to the downside, and this, of course, it's a pressure which may still tell me that price may still want to climb up, maybe not immediately. So there is that message I can get from this candle. Had it been that this candle closed, we had price closed appropriately and not with this rejection, we may say that we might be seeing a long move to the downside. But whatever is unfolding here, we're going to wait and see. But for now, we are correcting to the downside. That is what I can say. So it's a major correction that we are seeing. And here, we can see that price had closed, in an engulfing candle here on the weekly. And the third week of this correction is what we are now seeing some bullishness in the price, as we can see. But then when you see this kind of a move here, that this probably will close in a doji in a matter of, less than 4 hours, maybe about 2 hours is going to close, or 3 hours is going to close, tells us that what we are seeing here is a correction. So looking at this and what price is doing, we might be seeing, okay, this is the first move and the second move, which is the second wave, which is more of a consolidation or a corrective move. And we might be seeing the third move to the downside. So if you see the third move to the downside, would that mark the end? Are we going to be breaking above again, or we're going to now be seeing, a complex move, a correction again? So because we might have this move, which is, if you are going to break this move, let me go into the daily so that you understand what I'm trying to say. Because that is what it's presenting to us now. Now, this is the first part of the move. Down here, this is wave 1. Now, this wave 2, it's a correction in the middle. And when we are done with this wave 2 in the middle, then we're going to have another leg rundown as wave 3 in the middle. I mean, which is the third wave of this correction. So this is a corrective format. Is it a zigzag? Maybe not. So but whatever it is, we now know that this is obviously the first part of the correction, and this is the second part of the correction. We can't just have the second part of the correction and we're now going to break the top. No, we are certainly going to have the third part of the correction to the downside. And after that third part of the correction to the downside, what are we going to be seeing? Are we going to be moving, further up to do another leg of correction, which is on the daily? This might be a 1 and a 2 and a 3. And if we go up and we don't break above, we might be seeing the daily correction extending longer, which might push the price more to the downside. So we wait and see all these things. Now, but in terms of this daily candle formation, with this, it has not closed. This may close as a pin bar like this. If it closes like this, it may mean that we might be seeing more upside, but nothing is set in stone yet, because we can see this price action and what is happening now. This is nothing, because at the end of the day, they can change this, entire configuration on daily, which would end in another 3 or 4 hours. We'll see what's going to happen there. But definitely, there is a pressure from the buyers to the upside. Now, in terms of we trying to decode the next move, I want you to pay attention, because we are not done, in my own opinion, with this correction. We are still going to break down, but maybe not immediately. We might be going up, and how far we can go, we need to see. Now, in terms of trying to sort out wave and count the wave of correction, is it 3-wave? Is it, like a 7 swing, 3 swing, or is this going to be 7 swing or 11 swing? Now, these are things that I want you to see. When you come to the daily and you draw your trend, the first thing you have to do is just connect 2 daily candles, these and these. Once you bring it down and that candle is broken, signifies that, okay, that momentum is being lost and there's a change of pattern momentarily. So when you draw your trend, these and these are to connect and you bring it down, we'll first tell you that, okay, the motive wave of that move has been broken. Now we're in a corrective format. And when you're not doing corrective format, all you need to do is to connect these and the daily candle and to see when it's broken. Then you connect these and these also on the daily for the downward move to see when it's broken, to connect these and these, on the daily to see when it's broken, to connect these and these on the daily to see when it's broken. So when you do that, you can now fine tune on the 1 hour, and that will help you count properly, the wave of correction that we are seeing. So I'm going to bring out my, let's bring out my, these are my drawings, these and these. You can see a bit of a shift here because I had to now fine tune on the 4 hour. That's why it's not touching here. But this has been broken, and which tells us that completely clearly this wave is gone, which is we can call it A of the move. We can term it A of the move of that correction. Let's term it A. Let's term it A of that move. So, which is A of that move, which is A of that move. Let's just put it here for now. Then we are going to see B of that move, which we are currently doing. That's the B of that wave, which we are currently doing. And we are going to see a C to the downside of that move. Sorry, a C to the downside here of that move. Okay, so we don't know. Now, before we can say this is the limit of this A, we need to see how the correction format is going to go, and we count our correction, correct in a corrective manner, or in a correct manner before we can say, okay, this is the limit, because this A can be here or it can still come here, and B can still extend, more upwards before we do C to the. So the extent of where B is going to go will show us the extent of C to the downside, which we can't, we don't know for now. Now, but what I've just told us, this motive, which is A aspect of it, has been broken. So we are in consolidation, which is the B part of it. And how we're going to navigate it is what I want to show us and to know where we are. So see these and these brokered. This is the first wave, the second wave are clearly shown. I will go on the 1 hour, sorry, on the 4 hour to show you. And again, where we are seeing reaction for now, let's see. Let me do this. Okay. Where exactly we said we are still coming here. This is where we expect us to get to, which is the 50 and 68 of the entire run from here. If you still remember what I said from this broken line, Okay. Okay, from here. So the entire run began from here and up to this level. And so if I may go against, again to say that again. So from here to this line, which is the price, and this is 50, and this is 61.8. This is where we are coming to. Price will not just come straight to this to get here, but at least we should correct 50. Now, whatever happens up there will tell us if we're going to correct 50 or not. So this destination is still not where price is going to just get to just in a day or in a week. So when you are seeing a major correction, usually it takes nothing less than 3 weeks. So which is not a pullback. So this is not a pullback, it's a major correction. So if any pullback usually occurs in less than 2, 3, 4 days and you are on course again. But in a major pullback, it lasts more than 3 weeks. So we are entering the 4th week now. So with that said, let's now see in terms of wave 5 of this move in itself, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5. So where are we corrected up to in terms of wave 5? So let me zoom in again to see where we have gotten to in terms of wave 5. Permit me to quickly go to 4 hour to pick the peak of that. So the peak of that is actually here. I mean, the low of that rather. The low of that is actually here. Okay, the low is here. If I may use purple or black, let me use black. So that's the low there. So that's the low there. Now, that's the low there. So in terms of 3-4 correction, so let's see how what we have done. Now, wave 4 ended here and wave 5 here. So how far had we gone in terms of correcting the entire 5 wave to the downside? So we start from the origin of 5 to the end of 5 here. We have done exactly, we are seeing that reaction exactly at 76.4. We are seeing that reaction exactly at 76.4. So the reaction in terms of 4 to 5 and what we have corrected, the reaction is now at 76.4. So we are seeing that now we need to take out, okay, if I may come again. So before we know that, okay, definitely we are correcting big, we need to take out some structure out here before we know that, yes, we're now going down, we are progressing further down. So we need to take out 76 and 85, which is here. We need to take 85 out. And so once we take 85 out and we now get to 90 and we take 90 out, which is here. So once we take 90 out in that place, that's 90, then that tells us we are going further down to break more structure. So that's how to project, but this is where we are seeing reaction for now. So we need to take this out and take this out, then we know that we are going further down. So once we take this out, once we take 90 out, then you certainly know that it cannot be that you are correcting this as a wave 2 of this entire wave as a wave 2, which I've said I don't think it is. So now let's go more into it. Now this is the 4 hour. Before I even do that, let me quickly switch to the daily. Yeah, switching to the daily again. So just to tell us this move again, these have been broken, then this candle and this candle, this candle, and this candle, this candle, and this candle, this candle, and this candle. So the first two daily candle, once you break them, that means you are done with that particular wave. So when you now go on the 4 hour, how we actually understand that wave and the corrective pattern that we are doing. So once you move in between here, so we can see this as the fourth of this move, because if you can say this is a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5, which ends here, because this actually may end up being a zigzag, but we'll still see how far we are going to go up here. How far we get up here will now tell us if we are dealing with zigzag or not, because before this one can qualify to be a zigzag, you should know that it has to be corrected to the upside by 50%, 50 to 61 or 70 something percent to the upside, and then we're not going to see more downside. So we're going to see how we are going, and we counting this wave now is going to tell us that, see, now don't let me jump ahead of myself. So now we can still see this one as 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5, and this is the first move. When we see move like this, then there's something that is telling us. So once we see this, we have to wait for a B wave of it before we connect our trend line to now watch for where we're going to have a break again. So it's on 4 hourly that you're going to do that. So the first move to the upside then is a return. So once we join these two, then we have a trend, and then it got broken here to the downside. So this line, which is the turquoise blue line, got broken. That tells us that now this is wave 1 of the correction. Now, then this wave coming down. So we have to see this move here on the 4 hour and a return here. Can you see that wick? It's a return there. And with that return, gave us this trend line again, which is the second wave, and got broken by this. Of course, we know it's definitely going to probably one out and be out and momentum being lost, and eventually we broke out of it. So that's the second wave done with. Now, on the 4 hour again, we can see that when you connect at least 3 or 4 bays of the 4 hour, it might just give you, you know, the trend line. But again, a return here, you can see connecting these and connecting these with all these 1, 2, 3, 4 bases also coincide with these, and which completes wave 3, and it got broken here. So we now have wave 1 broken out from, wave 2 broken out from, wave 3 broken out from, and this, of course, is going to be a wave 4 that is broken out from. Now, in this kind of a wave, because this one had, you know, clearly shown to us, because when you have an A and a B and a C, because that's how to actually look at it. A small a of this correction and a B and a C. So this is a 3 wave, this is a 3 wave, and this is a 5 wave. So this is a flat in the middle. And this triad of 1, 2, and the 3 is a flat in the middle. And this 4th wave is now seen as an X. So we can actually still term it as an X. We can term it as an X. You can term it as an X. So we may do that, term it as an X. So now we have an X, which is the number 4 wave, and this might be the beginning of another A B, and a C. And so if you do that, that will be 6 and 7 to make it 7 swing, and we are going to see how we move down if you're going to break down. But having said that, see, this 4th wave need not to give us the 5th. So it may actually end the correction here and begin to break more to the downside. So that's one thing I want you to understand. So you don't take the word for it that, oh, it's the fifth wave that is going up. Structure must be broken before you can say, yes, this has confirmed that, oh, this wave that is going up, it's another new wave entirely. And before you can say that, if you take this as an X, then you must take at least, you must take out some 85.4 of that wave, of that complete wave out before you can say, yes, it's a new wave. Because in relation to X, if this is X, then you must take this. Okay, let me come again. So in this new wave, in this wave now, how do we run this? If I'm going to lock this actually, I'm going to lock this, I'm going to lock this from this line to this line. That's one. That's the first wave. Then I'm going to lock in the second wave from this line down to this line. That's how to log it. Then I'm going to log the last wave also from this line to this line. That's how to log that wave. So logging this wave now, so we can see 1 and a 2 and a 3. So where this one, went a bit above, then this one went a bit below this wave. It went a bit below this wave. So in an attempt to say, okay, you want to see the expanse of this wave, if you're going to compare to the new wave that we are seeing, this is the way it's going to run. More or less, it's going to run, you're going to see this entire wave from here to here. This is the longest. That's how you're going to see it really, is the longest. So you have this, and this wave 2 broke to the downside of the A, tells us that it is not a regular flat. In a regular flat, the returning wave will be at 61.8 or at 90 in a regular flat. If it's a zigzag, it's going to be, between 85, 50 and 85 if it's a zigzag. So it's not a zigzag. So it's a flat. What kind of a flat is this? Then it is not an extended flat. Is it an extended flat? I think it looks more like an extended flat to me, because if it's a an extended flat, because it is beyond in the other flat could be, it's not a regular flat. The other flat could be an extended flat, or which is a contracted flat. A contracted flat. So it is not a contracted flat because these had gone up. Yeah, of course, it could also be a contracted flat anyway. In a contracted flat, you can have B to be 123, so which may go past here, but the extent is going to go up here, is going to be 100 of the move. So where it's a flat in the middle, but the whole of the wave, it's, if I'm going to represent it with one line, let's consider where blue started. So the blue started from here and ended exactly at this level. So let me just use a new line for that, and it may now use my red for that. So my red line is the line I'm going to use to sum up all this activity as one. So if I'm summing up that activity as one, let me just stretch this across then. So across that way. So it means the whole activity of 1, 2, and the 3 has been summed up. But then, because this has broken down, it might just be a new wave that is breaking down now. of this correction. So it's a corrective format. So 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. And this is breaking down again. So this one going up, this is a new wave. So this is a new wave from here down to where we are now. So we will see how we try to correct to the upside from here. We'll see how we try to correct to the upside from here. Let me use black. So let's look at our limit at 85. So we'll see how that wave is going to rise before we have a correction. So I expect us to have a correction below 61.8 for at least a new wave to start. So, but we'll see how far that is going to go. So are we going to get up there? So if we get up there, the extent of this correction is going to tell us what we're going to get. But why I have to do this is potentially 1, 2, 3 and an X or not. But when you look at this as a wave in itself, this is like a zigzag in the making, where this one came down as the first part of the zigzag and the second wave and a zigzag here before we have this move. Now, this one that is going up, we need to see something. On the 1 hour, and that's why you don't just jump and follow every wave, because on the 1 hour, so you can see the way it's going up. It's going up rather in a very motive manner. It's like a motive wave with the way it's going up. So we are going to wait for it to return its leg. And we need that correction. The way it's going to correct will tell us what we're going to get. So you don't rush to trade now. Ultimately, we still want to come down. So the bigger picture, maybe for now, we may have this leg come here, another leg come down to finish the 7th wave. And after the 7th wave, we may be coming down. So when we come down, we may be breaking structure to the downside. We may be breaking structure to the downside. So that is what I'm seeing. But at the same time, if our correction to the downside is really like an engulfing candle. So when you see a movement to a return to the downside like this and an engulfing candle, it means that it is going to break the low again. It means it's going to break the low again. But so far, what we are seeing here, it's telling us that we may be just be correcting to the downside. So when we correct to the downside, it means that we're going to break this 4-hour trend. It's going to be a 1-hour trend now, because from 1 4-hour to another 4-hour to the upside. So we wait for it to be broken. So when you set a 1-hour time frame here, so we are going to see the manner how this one is going to correct to the downside. And probably you can now pick a short buy. Yeah, you pick a short buy and you follow the last leg of it to the upside, waiting for that also to be broken. That's how to, trade piecemeal and with a very, very small lot size. But for now, it's not, you don't want to buy, you don't want to sell now. So you will have to wait for correction here. So, and in this kind of a move that we have not seen a return, like here, move and a return. And when you see this return, you can easily calculate where it's going to get to. You can easily calculate where this is going to get to. If I may do that for you, I'm just trying to teach here now. So when you pick this from this move and up to where price got to, which is at the top here, this place. So the return here is about 61. So what we expect is that at least you should expect, if it's a 61, you should expect at least 100 to the upside or 90 to the upside. So, and that's how to do. So if you come here and let's see what it gave us from here to this, maybe to this, yeah, down to this base. So it gave us a 76, not up to 90. So that is what that one gave us. It was being manipulated. And this might be difficult to trade. You might have to go inside the 1 hour to trade this kind of this one. Let's see if we go inside the 1 hour, if it's going to help us. Now, with this now, there is like a three wave, 1, 2, 3 here, and 1, 2, 3 here, and the last wave to this one here. So if we pick this one, and say from here to this place, down to this place, it's about a 90. It's about a 90. And this one, if you pick this one, let's see what kind of correction we had there. It's going to be difficult a bit. So from here to this low, that's about a 50, at least an 100 to the downside. It should do in terms of trying to, once you speak this price action to the downside. So when we start from here and we come to the peak here, which is around that place, to where it ended at this place. So it gave us about, it gave us outside an 100, so you could have just gotten something. 100 is here, this is 123, so it broke to the downside, which would still be good for you. And you can't. Now this one, it's, of course, when this one is 3, an A, B, C, and this one is an A, B, C, of course, this one is going to run like a 5 wave. And that was what really happened here. This one ran, so of course you expect it to run like a 5 wave. Once you know this and you know this, you can easily follow this one, that after this return, after that move, on that, after that move, no, I want to pick the other instrument now. After that move to the upside here, exactly there, and a return at 76, would have given you a lead all to get here as a 5-wave structure. So it's a 5-wave structure, clear 5-wave 1 and 2, and a 3, the 3 burnt out in a wedge, which is the running, the ending diagonal of that 3, to have a 4 to the downside and a 5, which finishes that. So we had that run 1, 2, and a 3, and this was a new wave entirely, which broke to the downside. So it's a new wave entirely that broke to the downside, because in terms of the last wave here, which is this one, in terms of that last wave here, which is this one, it has gone past 123, 127, just reaction at 127 before we now begin to see this move to the upside. And in terms of the whole move of this red, what did it give us? Let's see if I may just drag that red here now. Good. So in terms of that move to the red, the whole of it, from this blue to this upper blue, without upper blue, yeah, it's about 127. So it's about 127, and that might tell us something as well, that because it's still within 123, and you can still term that would be 123 of a move. So this may be running at an A. This may be 1, 2, 3 might be an A for this one to be a B wave, even though we say an X, a B wave of 1, 2, 3, and a B wave, which is 123. And this one might also run a 1, 2, 3 like this, and to give us the C. So that is what again may happen, a C, but it's going to be more interesting to see how it's going to go up. Because it's 123, we may have a 6 to 1.8, we may have an 100 or a 123 to the upside. But now, where we are heading to, where we are interested in is now this, because the old move started from here. These may be changing from time to time. So now we want to see how we at least get to 60, 50 of this entire run to say, okay, we have finished B. So our B may get to a 50, may get to a 61.8, may get to a 76. So because these are just levels, trying to look at the whole picture, that's why I'm trying to break this one. That's different from my projection, which is this one to this one. So we have to demarcate and make those ones clearly different from the entire run of correction to the upside. But wherever if you're going to get here or here, depends on what we are seeing here playing out. For now, if this is going to run entire, because it's like almost 123. So of the old move here to this place is actually 123. So the extension of 123 that you should expect, it should be this really. Should be this really. If this one turns out to be a wave that will correct like that to this, and so where it ended, which is this one. So a 123 may be falling around this area, outside of between 61, between 76 and 85.4. So, but we'll still see how it's going to go. Now, dealing with this wave now, that is the most important now. Dealing with this wave is the most important. It has gone up as a sharp wave, which is a motive wave. We need it to break this. Once it breaks this, and we need to see how it's coming down to see we are going to get a 76 or a 50 before we move up again. So the way this one is going to come down and return its leg, once it returns its leg, and it's going up again, we are going to now look at when it's now going to now break 4 hours. That means we are going to recalibrate and bring this down to something like this, which is the first move and the second move and the last move. So we're going to, this one is going to break 1 hour, and we're going to see the extent is going to go up, which is the third wave. And at the break of that trend, 4-hour trend, we're going to now see the beginning of a new wave. That's the way we're going to go. So let's be patient. If you understand what I've said and you can trade, you can trade. But if certainly this one breaks to the downside and it continues to break the downside, it's going to go all the way. That means it's going to go all the way to the downside. And once it breaks this and break 161.8 extension of this whole run, then it's going to continue to break to the downside. But let's see the way this one is going to correct first on the 1 hour. So that ends the trading today. So watch the video. And if you have questions, you can drop it. Maybe I will address it in the next video, or if I can do a midweek analysis, I will do that for you. Based on your questions, I think I may just do that. I may just do that. So let me just do that. So we are still in the middle of correction. And so we need to see how this is going to go up with this. We need to see how it's going to go up. Of course, we can still break above here. Don't say we cannot break. We can still break above here, but we need to see how this is going to run, because it might be now be running an extended flat to the old structure, which we have had this correction, and this correction and broke to the downside. An extension will now break all this to the above, thinking that they're going to buy again, and they will now shut it down. So, all right.